Hello and welcome to episode 65 of That Does Not Belong to Me. I just recorded half of this episode and my doggy started barking. And I'm not sure what happened, but I think I could have saved it. And in the end, I am starting fresh. And it feels good, actually. This is live, and I have an editor, which is super, but generally I try to keep it flowing, smooth, on track. And what I had started off by saying in the last one was that I won't be making any more promises because last time I recorded, I said I was going to become more consistent in my recording because I love recording these podcasts. And in the end, I wasn't. So I'm just going to be here when I can be here. And that's about it. And I think that's how we should show up for most things is not forcing it, not making it happen just because we think it needs to happen, and just being there when we can be and when we want to be, ideally, right? Which is why I'm doing this right now again. So it's 2026, January. If you're at all on social media, it can be really intense. And the things you might be seeing are ways to enter the new year with different types of intentions or resolutions. And I just see it all and I'm curious by it. And some of it I honestly do give a try to, but I find overall it's just so much pressure and all of these things, the rituals, the routines, the exercise, the meditation, the journaling, the self-care of any way in all the ways, it's just adding to your plate. So I think in honor of this podcast, That Does Not Belong to Me, and of my recent book that just came out of the same title, let's go the opposite way. Instead of adding, let's remove, let's continue to play with clearing away the clutter of what doesn't feel good anymore. What do you not want to carry with you into this year that you've maybe been holding or that just doesn't fit you anymore? We do this with clothes, we do this with certain things in our house, certain styles, and we need to do it inward as well with our everything, everything that goes on inside of us. A lot of that comes in the form of stress or worry or pressures we may put on ourselves that we need to be doing life a certain way. So let's play with that. And obviously, anything you do want to add is great because at that point, you'll hopefully have space for it and will actually feel good to add at that moment. So I have some great news because at the end of 2025, I got from news from my oncologist that I have a clear scan. I had a PET scan, and now I am no evidence of disease. They call it NED. And the thing is, I still have a chronic cancer called lymphoma. It's not cured. There's no cure for this cancer yet, which is why I continue to do work with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. But I am in a current state of remission, and I'm really trying to stay in that and to be in that and to not even call it a state, but rather just that's me. I don't have cancer anymore. Because there's a little tiny voice at the back of my head that says it could come back. And there's a little remembering of my oncologist saying it's an unpredictable kind of cancer. So I'm trying not to live with that right now, not to be in denial, but just to live in the present and to feel healthy because I am, and to feel happy because I am, and to be grateful because I am so, so grateful. And then my book came out. It's been pretty crazy actually. So on Christmas Eve, December 24th, I was having lovely brunch with Val and Jess, a couple of my girlfriends, and we were doing a puzzle after brunch, and I get a text from my editor saying it's ready to go. And now he's helped me publish it through Amazon because that's just the simplest way to get it out there, especially for a first-time author. I will be getting it to Brome Lake Books by the end of January, so you can support local by buying it there. But otherwise, those are the only two options at the moment. And he said you can either order yourself a copy, get it, review it, and then we hit publish for everyone else. Or he's like, I think it's good to go. We could hit publish. And I was like, publish it. So tired of waiting. So we did. And I've not read it all yet, but I've read a lot of it. And there's a couple of mistakes That's okay. This was not meant to be perfect, that's for sure. And I'm not trying to downplay it either because I've seen it in so many of your hands. You've been sharing it on Instagram. I so appreciate it. Sharing it on Facebook. I so appreciate it. And I didn't get it before you guys. A bunch of you had it in your hands before me, and I think that was the perfect way it was meant to go down. I got to see it before I could feel it. And that, but in my literal hands, that is, it gave me a feeling when I saw it in yours. Don't you worry. Um, but yeah, the whole thing, like the whole process, I think was just anything in life. It's just gone like, yeah, like I didn't plan it this way, and it couldn't have gone better in the end. The fact that it's available now, start of the year, a lot of people are realizing they got to start somewhere. And maybe you've already started the work on yourself. And that just means literally spending time with yourself. I know it's going to feel like work for some of you. And ideally, eventually, it's really, really enjoyable. And that's a big part of this. So, my hope is that this book in your hands allows you to either start that process or continue the process of knowing that you matter, that you are so important. And as I say in the book, you're your most valuable asset. So, how about you spend some time on that and with that, right? So I have so many things that I've learned from writing this book, and I'm not going to go into too many details, but one thing I will say is that putting out there any form of art that is coming from your heart, and it doesn't need to be art, it can be a project, it can be literally anything that you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into, is very vulnerable, of course. And then also at the same time, like now that it's out there, I feel like it doesn't matter. And not because it's not important, and not because it's not good, and not because I didn't work hard, but because it's there. Now it exists, and now I'm going to create new art. And I remember, I can't remember how he put it, but Rick Rubin said that in his book of there's just going to be more art anyways. Like, yes, it's permanent because it exists, and but there's going to be more of them. That's all. There's going to be different versions of them. You're going to keep evolving, you're going to keep growing, and you're going to keep creating. So just not putting so much pressure on that one single thing, even if it's a bigger thing. So that's helpful for me, anyways. Another lesson was about being edited. I had an editor I worked alongside. I was happy, excuse me, to have an assistant type. No, he wasn't an assistant, but an assistance in getting the process done. Because if he wasn't there, or if I didn't have somebody helping me with the process, it wouldn't have happened. I know that for certain. I might have hired someone else or, eventually, but I needed that person. Otherwise, it just like it already took a while. It would have taken even longer. So get yourself that support if and when you need. It's so worth it. And the other thing is the process of being edited, of being told, this isn't good, it could be better. This isn't great that way. This way makes more sense, is hard because you're like, no, my way's the best way. So, of course, we don't like being told this is not good, this is better. But we also want to put out the best version of what we're creating out there. So, there's that. So, I definitely it was a practice, it was a process to learn to be edited. And when I read the book now, I'm only, let's say, like a quarter of the way through, if even. But I have to be careful for future projects and anything really is to not be too edited because there are parts of it that I'm like, that's not quite me anymore. So this is me. This book is me, but just the way certain things are written got edited, as with this process. But it's a good reminder that next time, like, stand up for my voice too in anything I do and anything you do. Um, okay, the other thing is, as a reminder, you know how we say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. These two things that just happened to me that I feel are like pretty big things were such a good reminder of that. For example, the book is out and and like I don't know. I think people expect this big like euphoric moment and like this grand celebration and I'm like we were already celebrating Christmas. We don't need to like drink more champagne, okay? We're already drinking enough of that. I obviously am still like celebrating in my way of being proud of myself and trying to do things like I'll explain later, like a radio show locally and a workshop on human design and sharing in other ways like that that just help get the book in more people's hands. But the process itself was the thing. And now the book is out. That's a big thing. But now it's what's going to happen with it. And where am I going to go from here is the thing. And it's not about always like searching for more. Like a big thing we're supposed to do is celebrate when we arrive somewhere. That thing you're trying to reach for. You get there. Sit with that and be with that. And so I'm really trying to do that. But I just want to say, like, it's that reminder that it's not this, like, oh my God, I'm done. I did it. I made it. I'm here. Because we're never just here. We're always going to be seeking more. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I know we need to be grateful for what we have and be in the present moment and all that. But I'm so excited for what's to come because of this book. It exists now. And what am I going to create now from here? So, yes, celebrate and think about the journey that's to come too, because that's really exciting. And the same with the cancer diagnosis and the lack thereof. That's another podcast episode, I think, because I don't feel like going there today necessarily, but it's not so simple. Like everyone is congratulating and that I'm so happy. And obviously I'd rather be in this state than the alternative. Um, there's a lot of weird thoughts and complicated feelings that come up, I think, when you've lived with cancer or any disease or illness. I'm sure so many of you can relate. Um, and when they say it's gone, there's something interesting that happens then too. And the thing I spoke about on my social media, which is hard to say because it's so messy, and I think that's part of what we're here to do, is that now that I don't have a cancer card, how am I gonna choose myself? How am I gonna make sure that I come first? Because when you have cancer, everyone allows that. Everyone's okay with it. Oh, you got these doctor's appointments. Oh, you just finished treatment. Of course, you don't have to come. Of course, you can do whatever you want. Of course, you can prioritize yourself. And I've been working on this. So for me to say this makes it sound like I've gone way backwards. But I just want to say it because I know I'm not alone in that. And I just want to say it because we really shouldn't need a cancer card to do what we need to do, to give ourselves what we need. So I said it. Okay. So this is all great. The book is out, cancer free right now. Um, and what's to come? What's to come? That's a great question. So the funny part is, this whole book, it is guided by human design. I write through the lens of human design. Each chapter, well, it starts with a few intro type chapters, just explaining where I'm coming from, a bit about myself and my past, and then it talks a little bit about what is human design. And then it goes through each energy center as the guide for the chapter. So, for example, chapter one, I combine the head and the mind center. I'm really trying to keep it as simple as possible. And I honestly don't know complex things about human design, so I'm obviously not going to go to that place. So I'm sharing from what I know about it and from how I've either lived through things that have helped me with it or have seen other people live through it. So sharing these stories. And it's so funny because now that the book is out, if I had still been giving human design readings, this would be amazing. I would promote myself. It'd be so easy. The book would feed the readings would feed the book, that sort of thing. And even giving coaching programs or things like that. Like now I'm an author. That gives me good credibility or something. And so I had someone ask me if I could do their human design reading like a month ago. And I did it just between Christmas and New Year's. And I did it as a test. So at this point, the book wasn't out when she asked me to do this. I like this woman. She's a fellow entrepreneur, has a beautiful business I adore in Knowlton called Espace V. It's a beautiful shop. And I was excited to do this for her. And I knew she was someone who has already done the work on herself. So I knew she was probably already in alignment with a lot of her human design. And it turns out she was. And so it was a good practice. And this is what I think is important to do and remember is that when you change your mind, as in you change directions, I didn't want to teach yoga to kids anymore 5 years ago. After doing that for 10 years, I changed direction. I moved into coaching. And then at the start of the summer, I took a break from coaching and I've changed directions. And I've just taken a little pause from coaching and focused more on the marina, the teaching at the Well Studios, and the book. And now I'm in this kind of new space where I'm not sure. And I'm really trying to tune into my human design, let my gut guide me. And we get to respond. So anyone who has a defined sacral, manifesting generators or generators, we have defined sacrals. And I would just say anyone, let's just say for the sake of it, because I feel like it doesn't need to limit us, is that we're supposed to respond to what's going on around us. And so by doing that reading, I got to respond to how that made me feel. And I have to say, I put a lot of energy into it because I created a big document so she could have notes after. We spent about 2 hours together in the end. And yeah, so it was a lot of output, and I don't necessarily charge enough. And that's okay. That's my choice. But is it something I want to do regularly? I'm still not sure. So, what I am doing, which this will probably be in the past by the time this episode comes out, but I'm going to give a workshop, an introduction type workshop to human design on January 11th. It's Sunday afternoon. If you're listening to this past then, send me a message if you want the recording. It's going to be $22. I wanted to charge for it because I think we show up better when we've invested, even if it's a small amount. And my friend Ashley was like, "You can charge $40 for it now. You're a published author." And I was like, "I'm still going to keep it $22." I like that number. And I didn't want to make it free either because I value my time and I value your time as well. And that's been an interesting process too, is just the pricing of things at this point. So, for example, my editor, when he said the book was published, he said, if you want, we could do a big sale on it for the first week just to get a lot of people purchasing it. And then we get people's reviews about it. And that's apparently good for the Amazon algorithm or whatever. And I was so proud of myself. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. 17.99 is pretty reasonable for all of the work I put in. And I'll be quite honest with you on here. I've invested over $8,000 in this process between the editor and the formatter and all of the things. So, yeah, no, I'm okay with keeping it at that price. Thank you very much. And so I've come a long way in that way, though, because I otherwise would have just listened to his advice. So proud of myself once again. Keep finding these moments to be proud of yourself, you guys. They exist. You just need to find them. Um, so all that to say is I don't know what I'm doing next, and I'm gonna keep dabbling because I want more people to experience human design, which is why this book exists, really. And then if I can offer things like this workshop or maybe do some regular small type classes where people can have conversations about it. And the workshop is going to be an hour of me telling you about your energy types, strategies, authorities. So I'll go over the full range. We'll talk a bit about the energy centers, but I want to leave a good 20, 30 minutes for any questions or anything as well. So even if you're catching the recording, that'll probably be very valuable because often we have the same questions as other people. Um, but yeah, it's all like pretty ironic that this exists, this book that could lead, it could like funnel, as we say in the coaching world, into other offerings that don't exist right now. And I'm just also like, this is exactly right. This is what human design has taught me. Not to create something because it should exist. No, that's not it. That's it. It's where my energy guides me towards. That's what should exist. So I'm focusing more, get back into writing again. The holidays threw me for a loop. It was a busy time. I'm going to focus more on writing. I'm currently putting in my Substack. If anyone's on Substack, you can find me there. I'm doing Cancer Diaries, which is notes that I had in my phone from the past 3.5 years where I wrote random little observations or experiences I had throughout this cancer journey. And I'm going to elaborate on them and talk about them in my Substack. And this is not just for cancer folk either. This could be for anyone going through literally anything or supporting anyone going through anything. I have a feeling it will be at least some of it relatable. And I had kind of mentioned, but CIDI is our local radio station, and I've asked to have a radio segment called That Does Not Belong to Me. So I'm still in works of figuring out how that works with this podcast because I don't want this to go away. There's a possibility that what gets recorded there could come to this podcast, so you could still listen to it through Apple or Spotify, in case you can't get CIDI, and otherwise you can catch it there. So TBD about all of that, but I'm very excited to have something more consistent. I love doing the podcast. When it's left to my own devices, I find it harder, but if I have something more scheduled, the support of outsiders, I know I can make it happen. And I'm really excited to have some conversations like I used to, interviewing people, talking about people's windy roads to get to where they are, talking about a lot with entrepreneurs, but not exclusively with. and just talking more about how we can find ourselves over and over again and again as we move forward through our lives. So I'm also doing a vision board workshop on January 24th at the Well. And I know not everyone lives locally, so if there's anything you're interested in that I'm doing live here, let me know. We can always throw some things online too. I'm just, again, waiting for feedback or waiting for my own feedback so I can respond to people. And I guess that's about it. I did want to share one final moment of reading a little part of my book to you. So this is from chapter 2, and this is a chapter that talks a bit about what is human design. So I'm just going to read this little part here. It says, after years of practicing, playing, and experimenting with my human design, I now see so much proof of its magic. I've learned strategies like waiting to respond, which keeps me from forcing situations. I listen to the sounds of my gut. I listen to the sounds my gut makes. Uh-huh, or really any sounds at all. These instinctual noises are your sacral speaking, giving clear yeses and nos about what to move toward and what to walk away from. This tool has become one of my greatest allies for making aligned decisions. It's basic math. When you fill your time and spend your energy on events, opportunities, relationships, favors, or jobs that you're only doing because you think you should, there's no room left for the good stuff. No space for the moments that give you life. No bandwidth for the things that are actually meant for you. One thing I remind myself often is that every present moment has the potential to become a cherished memory. So why waste those moments on obligations that don't align with who you are? Tell the universe what you want by letting go of what you don't. She's listening and she's ready to give you everything you've been hoping for. With that, thank you all so much for being here. It truly means the world. I'm really excited for what's to come. We'll see what that is. And until then, Happy New Year. I hope it is a healthy one. I hope it is filled with love and anything else you may be desiring. And I will see you very soon. Goodbye.